Coming up on Wake Up NonStop Local, Kevin Coe has been released by a Spokane County judge. Now, some state lawmakers want to make sure something like this doesn't happen again. We explain ahead.
Plus, we'll get a first look at your weather forecast. Gorgeous to start to this fall Friday. I'll get you prepared to head out the door here weather-wise in just a few minutes.
Also this morning, facing the music, Sean Diddy Combs set to learn his punishment today. Diddy's last-ditch effort to shorten his sentence.
Is the baby breathing?
And to the rescue, a police officer in California jumping into action to save a choking child. The moment caught on camera.
All that.
Wake up, you gotta rise to the sun. And here it comes, it's time to make the best of what you got to give. It's all about rising, and I wanna be there.
Lines is getting in on Mariner Mania. They've added a flight from Seattle to Detroit to fly fans to Game 3, which is on Tuesday. And the Mariner Moose will be there to send off fans who are going to fly out Monday at SeaTac. All right, thanks for joining us here on Wake Up NonStop Local. I'm Kalai Chop.
And I'm Sam Adams with Jenny Power. The Mariner Moose sadly could not make it with us this morning here on the show, but our SWX sports team will be joining us in a few minutes to break down that matchup.
It's going to be super exciting. I know so many Mariners fans have been waiting for this, and especially if you get to ride on the plane and see the Moose, that is like the best experience.
You got to go all out, right? Because you never know when the Mariners are going to make the postseason again. Sometimes there's long droughts, so you got to party like it's 1999.
And a lot of people will be driving over this weekend to check out the first two games. With that, let's get a look at the forecast because we're looking at good weather, and you've been tracking the fall foliage as well.
Oh my gosh, and it's going to be beautiful too, especially, driving through the Cascades to get over there for some of this Mariner madness in Spokane. Also, a really nice fall start here to the day today, but it's chilly here as we take this live look over Riverfront Park in downtown Spokane. We are in the mid-40s currently for Spokane and Coeur d'Alene, which is a very light breeze here to go along with it. We yesterday did wake up to a good amount of fog. We're not seeing that in Spokane, but a little bit of patchy fog actually popping up through these areas shaded in yellow, through the North Idaho Panhandle, down through southeast Washington, as well as through parts of the Cascades. So just keep that in mind for the morning hours here that you may commute. Rain moving right now over into western Montana, leaving behind dry conditions here for the rest of us. We've just got some clouds for Spokane and Coeur d'Alene. But as we take a look at what's to come here, we are going to be seeing daytime highs in the mid-60s and really nice conditions this afternoon. Widespread sunshine. How long this dry forecast is going to last, we'll talk about that here in 10 minutes. Sam Kalai.
I have been assured by the state that they have informed the victims that the state of Washington no longer has any evidence that allows the state to confine or detain Mr. Coe anymore. That the unconditional release of Mr. Coe is going to happen.
And this morning, Kevin Coe is waking up in a group home in Pierce County. He was released from McNeil Island about noon yesterday after a Spokane County judge ruled that the state doesn't have the evidence to detain the 78-year-old who's also in declining health. Now,
A motion was granted to dismiss the case with prejudice. That means plaintiffs in this case will no longer be able to bring the same claim back to court. The state says it doesn't have evidence to hold Coe. The decision, though, not sitting well with lawmakers.
Ritzville State Senator Mark Schlesler was living in Spokane when Coe was attacking women, and he says he remembers the terror that it caused. He says his release feels wrong, considering Coe never accepted accountability or got treatment.
Schlesler says there are legal parameters through the legislature that could change the law that would prevent something like this from happening again. He said this is a unique case, but it's one worth examining.
Reached out to Senator Riccelli and said he can be the prime sponsor and I would be the co-sponsor or vice versa. This is a regional issue. It's not a partisan issue. I think we look for a very narrow exemption to the release because the courts have ruled that you can't hold them for punishment, only for treatment. I think the Coe case is a narrow example of someone who rejected treatment, rejected responsibility, guilt, never apologized.
Now, we did reach out to Marcus Riccelli as well, and he redirected us to a statement made earlier this month saying that he will continue to support and strongly support law enforcement and policies that protect people from the kind of pain our community endured from Coe's crimes.
He says that he's concerned about Coe's release and wanted him to stay at McNeil Island. He also told us he was in support of Coe staying there, adding that his release is incredibly concerning. Well, new this morning, 3 people are facing charges for kidnapping, beating, and robbing a man from Spokane. Seattle police say that he paid the suspect $65 to drive him from Spokane to Redmond on Wednesday.
Instead, they drove him to Seattle, and when they arrived early Thursday morning, they say the driver turned and struck him in the face with a handgun, while other suspects then punched him and held him inside the car. They took $180 from the victim, along with a bag containing medication and clothing. The victim was able to break free and called police. Suspects were arrested a short time later. Washington right now joining a coalition of 20 states. They're suing the United States Department of Justice over new restrictions on federal funding for crime survivors.
The lawsuit argues that the rule illegally bars states from using grants to provide legal services to undocumented immigrants. Washington Attorney General Nick Brown says that the change threatens critical programs funded through the Victims of Crime Act, Burn Justice Assistance Grants, and Violence Against Women Act.
Now, these programs are designed specifically to help survivors of domestic violence as well as sexual assault and other violent crimes. In a press release, the AG said in part, the president wants to turn legal service providers who help victims of crimes into an extension of ICE. This is illegal and against the will of Congress.
Hundreds of people rely on these funds each year in Washington state. New rules scheduled to take effect October 31st. Happening now, Sean Diddy Combs is in court for his sentencing hearing. He was found not guilty of more serious racketeering and sex trafficking charges, but he was convicted in July on 2 counts of transportation to engage in prostitution.
And just last night, Combs sending a letter to a federal judge pleading for mercy. In the letter, Combs apologizing and expressing sorrow for, quote, all the hurt and pain he caused. He'll have the chance to address the court during a hearing today in New York City.
Prosecutors are asking for an 11-year prison sentence. His lawyers are asking for time served.
Caught on camera, terrifying moments captured on a body camera from a California police officer.
An officer in Upland, California helped save a child who was choking.
Is the baby breathing? He's not breathing?
I've never dealt with this.
Okay, come here.
Now, we're able to tell you the officer was able to work and clear the child's airway and performed CPR on scene. The child began breathing right away as the ambulance arrived. Everyone is doing well, and the child is expected to make a full recovery. 6:38 this morning. New this morning, Swift Mania is back. Taylor Swift has officially entered her showgirl era.
And her new album, Life of a Showgirl, dropped last night at midnight. So here's a live look at Target on the South Hill this morning. It's quiet right now. It opens at 7 a.m., but it stayed up late, along with hundreds of other stores across the country, including the North Spokane Target, the Valley Target, and the store in Moscow, Idaho. Open late, selling the special edition of the brand new album.
All right, this was the scene inside stores across the country. They lined up for hours getting their hands on the album before everyone else. And fans were swift to try to listen as well on Spotify last night at midnight. But those listeners said the service was down as they tried to stream the album at the stroke of midnight. By the way, this record is now Taylor Swift's 12th studio album. Still going strong.
A salvage team is celebrating this morning after they found buried treasure underwater worth $1 million.
All right, take a look at this. This is priceless. The team locating Spanish gold and silver coins, searching through a shipwreck on the Florida coast. You can see them using metal detectors to try to find that. The treasure was believed to be coming from a ship that was lost at sea, part of a fleet of Spanish ships that were hit by a hurricane back in 1715.
The date and mint marks are still visible on some of the coins. They're now going to undergo conservation, and then some will go on public display at local museums. Well, now that it's October, it's time to lean into fall.
All right, with that, Green Bluff has some fall festivals going on this weekend. It's all starting up as fall is in full swing. They've got everything from pumpkin picking to corn mazes and some great food. NonStop Locals Noah Bolter trying to hit all those spots this morning. Where are you to wrap up our morning, Noah?
Sam Kalaya right now live at Big Barn Brewing, and if you were wondering, is it still summer, is it fall yet? Just take a look right here at this beautiful pumpkin patch that just seems endless because of the fog. Now to talk a little bit more about it, we have Craig Dietz over here with Big Barn Brewing. So Craig, talk to us. What's unique at your location?
Well, we're farm-based. We have a ton of different fruit, and then we do all these seasonal artisan beers that incorporate our crops.
So people can come here and they can pick pumpkins, and it literally looks endless because of the fog. How many pumpkins do you think are here?
Oh, thousands and thousands. I mean, I don't know how many tons of pumpkins we have, so there are a lot.
And talk to us. So families are allowed to kind of walk through here and pick out their pumpkins. What advice do you have for them? A jack-o'-lantern pumpkin versus an artistic pumpkin. How long are they going to last? What's your advice?
Well, they'll last until we get a deep freeze. So once the things have frozen solid, then they turn to mush. As far as eating, we have sweet pie pumpkins. We use those in our pumpkin ale. We have these Rouge d'Orange pumpkins that are apparently a French culinary pumpkin. We've got whites, we've got warties, we've got them all. So a lot of choices.
Well, and you got the experts here to help walk them through the decision making, right?
Oh, yeah, exactly. Yeah, lots of choices. And people, they love so many different varieties. You get things that are, that thing's all ugly, and somebody else says that's perfect. So you just never know.
Beauty is in the eye of the beholder,
definitely
Craig.
true.
Thank you
That's
so
definitely
much. Live in Green Bluff, Noah Bolter. NonStop Local.
Oh my gosh, it looks so beautiful out there.
I love it. All right, still to come this morning here on Wake Up NonStop Local. Who's ready for a weekend on the town?
Kate Hudson is in the house. She's joining us with what is going on and all you can do this weekend. That's next.
Plus, we'll be getting a full look at what you can expect weather-wise here as we enter this Friday. I'm also getting you ready for the weekend ahead.